Always thinking of the patient first. Everything else comes secondary to that.
Had a pretty normal childhood, Norman Rockwellian experience, 2 good parents, awesome people, came from a good family, everything was good. 13, got diagnosed with cancer. Didn't lose my leg, but essentially lost the function of my leg. They replaced all my bone with an internal prosthetic, and even after years of physical therapy, I never really gained any muscle mass or flexibility. I think my range of motion at most was maybe 85 degrees. So trying to sit in the backseat of a car or anything, like life was uncomfortable. So from 14 to 27, that's what I dealt with. Oh yeah, they did drill through my good knee so that would stop growing, because their plan for extending the height of the internal prosthetic, in hindsight, was not a good idea, and they opted to not proceed with that. So their plan to fix the height discrepancy was to just stop my good leg from growing at 14. But you can't be bitter about stuff like that. It's just the way, they did the best they could with what they had. At 27, I woke up one day and my internal prosthetic had become infected and necrotic and just didn't work anymore. I went to take a step, I fell right to the ground. I know for a lot of people, amputation is traumatic. And I joke about this all the time, but I've had girlfriends do far more psychological damage than my amputation ever did. But I was ready, So from 13 to 27, I dealt with a leg that just was not great. Just didn't really work, it hindered me. So getting that cut off, for the first time in my adult life, I felt like I'm fully me. I don't have anything stuffed inside of me. I don't have anything that's holding me back. So I hit the ground running. I had a lot of bad habits from having one leg be so bad for 14 years. My hips were off. I had a Trendelenburg stance. Part of my spine was rotated. I had pinched nerves. Basically, so the next couple of years were nothing but a lot of yoga, a lot of stretching, a lot of working out, and a lot of undoing 14 years of damage. Able to have 2 legs the same height for the first time in my adult life. That fixed a lot of my back issues, and then we were kind of able to start living a relatively pain-free life. So my life got a lot better after amputation. After I lost my leg and I felt unchained, Corey was having me come in to talk to potential new amputees and just kind of let them know what I went through and kind of give them a heads up what they were going to go through. And it very much immediately felt like a duck and water situation. Like, this is where I'm supposed to be.
So the P17N is right in the middle, and then on each side is male and female. So female on the left, man on the right. Okay. Don't think of it, don't read anything into it.
Sure. Just a conscious. Yeah, you have one in your pocket.
Oh, okay, cool. So we're gonna make up the difference.
You got too many options when you got that much length.
Yeah.
They ready to grind though? Yep. It's gonna get loud, dude.
The longer one was done first. I don't know if that matters. If it's easier to grind it because it's been sitting for longer.
Might have to go to
turn line, yeah. No, we'll be good on that. Yep.
If not, you got it out in your little thing there. When I get into actually 3D modeling and 3D printing, and I'm able to just draw them in a 3D space and print them, I'm gonna get a lot more intricate, like those kinds of things. Like, that's the kind of we're gonna be building. Cool. But again, I don't ever want to straight up steal somebody else's art. A lot of these things are art students' projects, you know what I mean, for their CAD CAM class or whatever. So That one's back, getting some TLC.
This the Angel one?
No,
No,
that
that's
one's
the-
gone on her way to. That one's on her way to Holland right now, man. I'm excited
Sweet.
to see what that one looks like when it's actually on her.
This is the girl from LA, right?
Yeah. That one's back right now because she broke this piece right here. So we reinforced it with carbon fiber and then re-pearlized it with our new pearling technique that I didn't have the first time. And then we're gonna retouch up. Some of the gold leaf has come off. So we're just gonna do a little TLC. You know, when you wear them every day, they get beat up.
Yep.
But that means you're wearing them, so I'm happy I'm fine with it. Alright.
So you're prepping yourself so you don't get that
Yeah.
resin on
The carpet dust.
And here we go. Oh, they didn't take that off. Alright. Do what I can right here first. Save myself some grinding time.
This intermittently turns the power supply on to this.
Okay.
This is just a booster for this because this is only a 3.7 volt battery, which is enough to run the computer board, but it's not enough to run the lights. The lights require 5 volts, so this boosts the 3.7 up to 5. And then when we install the lights, that board will be the controller. And that's how we get to be able to control it with Bluetooth via our cell phone and have it do different animations, which we haven't figured out how to program yet, but we're getting there. We've at least started. We've written our first couple lines of code as of last week, which was like a huge, I mean, that's the milestone, right? It's got about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 10 or so more pieces, and then it's done. So really not that much, and then it'll be ready for paint here in a day tomorrow, maybe tomorrow.
Incandescent.
Gotcha. So that makes it a little easier to see, but then it's not as. So I gotta find a better way to do that.
So the first thing I do is I take a cast of the knee, in this case, or the socket of a below the knee, all the way down to the ankle, so that I know the total length from the foot shell, the part that looks like a fake rubber foot, all the way to the top of the knee. Whether it's an AK or a BK, I take a cast. Once I have that, I create a plaster mold of that, and now I kind of have my margin set. I know how tall it can be, and I know if there's anything important, like release switches for the patient, where those important places are, so I know to either leave a hole to access that or not. Once I have that, I can hand carve a mold however I want. And I just need to make sure that it's big enough in the inside to house whatever I'm gonna be stuffing in there later. So once I have the mold, then I can actually laminate various materials. In this case, this is mostly a fiberglass cover, so as you can see, it's pretty flexible and durable. You can bang on it. And then once I have the fiberglass frame, then I can start gluing on all, and most of this is foam, and it's various kinds of foam, depending on how dense and how soft I wanted it. So I wanted this to be pretty hard to be able to take abuse with the fiberglass frame underneath it, but I wanted the knee to be able to soft, so if I knelt down on something, I could bite into the surface. There's a lot of things with a cosmetic cover that comes. One, it completely changes the interactions you have with people. They go from being more of a somber, sorry, oh, what happened to your leg, to a far more positive interaction of, oh my God, that's so cool, where'd you get that, who made it, how'd they do that, how does it work? So it completely changes like the whole paradigm of the person's, you know, state before they even interact with you. So instead of coming to it with like a tragedy behind it, they're coming to it like, that's cool. So it immediately kind of changes the playing field as far as social interactions go. Number two is you actually make it more your own. It's not just that brand of knee that a few thousand people might be walking on. Having it be secure is really crucial. The thing is each knee is different, so I can't secure it to the knee. So each one has to be custom built to the knee joint if it's an AK, or if it's in below the knee, right to the socket. So it won't fit anything other than the thing it was meant to fit. I'm working on figuring out a way to make them more interchangeable, but yeah, that's really hard. The problem is I don't have enough time to do these. I get a lot of people that ask for them. I won't charge for them. I know that there are specific cases where insurance will cover for them, and in those cases, we will recoup what we can and then use that money to buy more materials for all the ones that we give away. So at the end of the day, I'm pretty sure we take a total loss on all these, but that's not what it's about. It's about, again, making somebody love their leg again. Even without a cover, just with a custom print or design or just even a good fit.
Can you do lunges with that?
What, lunges? Answer is no. We can practice that one.
There is the ability to kneel on this. If you go out to this position and force it forward, you should be able to kneel.
Well, I know you got that beautiful pad right there. That's not just for legs.
No, it's there to land on.
And I don't slide all over because they picked a good material. I'll say that. You guys did your homework on
Now
that.
try the other one. Go out with a prosthesis.
Or step backwards with your right side. Either way. Maybe Corey has the better idea.
Cool.
No, it should help you get up.
So as long as you raise your thigh up,
And then just stay leaning forward.
lean forward, yeah.
No, it didn't. I basically just threw myself off from the right side.
So when you go, what number are you on? You're at 51. Take that step back. We'll look at the status. We'll just
Shock.
It helps right reset.
That felt weird.
Now it thinks you're standing walking.
Yeah, I'm not.
I know you're not.
Okay, so there it is. So once it gets to sitting, okay, now it will give you lift.
Oh yeah, dude.
There it is.
Not what I was expecting it.
Not at the time you were expecting.
That's better.
And now it says you're sitting, so.
How much
Push me to the right a little bit.
how much power is that producing?
To lifted my
Well, I know, but like,
Like I didn't do anything but hold my trunk steady and just kind of imagine if somebody grabbed you by like your thigh and just went like that. Like you would have to keep all this steady. Like
is that something that throws your thigh back? Yeah. Like if you're half standing up.
no, distal, all distal.
We are a few hours into making dynamic alignment changes, and we've made more progress in the last 10 minutes just by swapping the foot. Yes, I think I'm ready to try stairs. I feel like we've got everything honed in so much better now.
There's a big difference with the ProFlex.
Oh yes,
right?
yeah, immediate. We swapped the foot out from the pivot to the LP. I don't know if I'll ever go to anything that requires a battery. I got a lot of bad body mechanics though still between my shoulder and, oh, hang on. Now at home I was able to get the descent on my home stairs, on lunch, even on the pivot, it went down fine. I don't understand what I was doing there that I don't have the neural pathways. Don't have them yet. So it's like going down a very bumpy road instead of a nice paved road. But It's getting honed in though. It's getting nice actually. It's starting to feel like home. How about that? And I figured out how to get that step to transition right into like keep walking. I've only missed that once since I figured out the new pathway. If I were to grade this on a scale of 10 to say where we started, you know, it would have been at about a 4. It would have been failing. I can't walk out of here on this and feel like somebody's tugging on me every step I take. And right now, I'd say we're probably, keep in mind, a 10 I've never given out. There's no such, a 10 out of 10 is what you got. I'd call this a good 7.5, 8. We're there, like we're circling a very good, like this is starting to feel like home. The small lateral, being able to activate the knee to grapevine like this, I could never do that on any other microprocessor. And yeah.
Were you taking a video or
yeah.
just doing it for some, yeah.
Believe it or not, that motion's incredibly useful for when you're parrying something, to be able to just grapevine like that off the side of your foot and not have to roll over the toe. From non-functional by my standard to now, we're 3 hours in.
That's not bad.
That's not bad.
Yeah.
That's a good day.
Yeah, it's
That's a good day.
pretty good.
I'm pretty impressed here, I'm not gonna lie. Well, you flipped me. You flipped me. That's, I mean, there's not a lot of...
Figured out the first earlier. That's an important learning as well.
With all the lights working on it again too since the last time you were here. Oh, but it doesn't lift me up. That sucks. That's a nice feature. You get used to a leg that'll lift you out of a chair.